All right, good morning, everyone. I am Judge Carter. If you are here as a witness this morning, could you please stand up and raise your right hand to be sworn in by the clerk?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
All right. Thank you. And just a couple of pointers. When you come into the box to testify, please make sure that you keep your mask on while you're in the box and come right up to the microphone and speak into the microphone because it's very hard to hear what you're saying here in the courtroom, okay? All right. Thank you very much. All right. This is 20 MM 8594. Ma'am, please tell me your name.
Michelle Mesger.
All right. And you're here with your attorney, Mr. Sogorski. You also have a violation of probation based upon the new law arrest in 20 MM 8594. Ma'am, you were arrested for petty theft.
Yes, ma'am.
There is probable cause. Mr. Sogorski, did you want to be heard with respect to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. Again, for the record, Dominic Paul Sikorsky on behalf of Ms. Mesger. Your Honor, we're asking that the court consider a bond on the violation of probation. I'd like to take some brief testimony from Ms. Mesger, if I can do so at this time.
All right, so Mr. Sikorsky, I cannot legally give her a bond. She is a violent felony offender of special concern, so per the statute, I cannot give her a bond on the violation of probation. You would have to have a danger hearing in front of the trial judge.
Your Honor, I was unaware that that was her classification. I was just retained late last night.
Sure, no problem.
So I will explain that to Ms. Mesger, and I will address that, just a resolution of the case before the VOP judge. Your Honor, if I may ask, will it be Judge Whitehead? Or will it be?
It's Division 15, so she will be scheduled for an arraignment in front of Judge Whitehead. But you could file whatever motion you want to in Division 15, and I think that's Judge Wilson, actually.
But the arraignment before Judge Whitehead, but ultimately the case to be resolved in front of Judge Wilson.
That's correct. And I'm saying you might be able to get in front of Judge Wilson before the arraignment with Judge Whitehead.
I understand. And Your Honor, I'll explain the significance of the court's statements, regarding the felony special concern.
Okay, thank you. And then I'm just going to stay the bond in 8594 at $500. Ma'am, you're not to return to the Walmart or have any contact with the witnesses in the case.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. All right, good morning, Ms. Howler.
Good morning, Judge.
This is case number 20 CF 14358. Sir, please tell me your name.
Dylan Roberts.
All right, Mr. Roberts, you were arrested for armed burglary of a conveyance with a firearm, possession of a firearm in the commission of a felony, carrying a concealed firearm, 3 counts of fleeing and attempting to elude, and grand theft of a motor vehicle. In reviewing the affidavit, I did not find probable cause for counts 4, 5, and 6 for the fleeing and eluding. I didn't find any facts, Ms. Bush, to substantiate that Mr. Roberts had ever been ordered to stop or that there were any lights and sirens activated. I understand it was a felony stop on the stolen vehicle and they used the stop sticks, but I didn't find any facts to support the statutory requirement of the order or the lights and sirens.
Your Honor, the state's not going to make a request as to those counts.
Okay.
Judge, in addition, I did have the opportunity to speak with the state regarding count 1, and it's my understanding that they are agreeable to stipulate to a bond in that matter.
Okay, so Ms. Bush, you're not going to be asking the court to make a finding as to prove evident presumption
or
grade?
presumption grade, no, Your Honor.
Okay. Did you all have a bond amount that you had stipulated to?
We did $25,000 on count 1, and I apologize, I believe the state wrote down the remainder. I'm not very good at math, but
Well, the agreement included counts 4, 5, and 6. However, because the state's not making a request for 24 hours, it would be 25,000, count one, 150, counts 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7 as subsidiaries, Your Honor. Not 6, 7.
1, 2, which would be 2, 3, and 7 would be 150.
Yes, Your
Is
Honor.
that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Roberts, I am going to set bond in the amount of $25,000 on count 1, $150 on count 2, $150 on count 3. You'll be ROR'd on counts 4, 5, and 6 as the court finds there's no probable cause, and $150 on count 7. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. You are not to have any contact with the victim in this case, sir. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
All
Thank you,
right.
Judge.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Mr. Melendez? This is Mr. Omar Feliciano, out-of-county plea from the add-on docket. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. As I said, he will need a Spanish interpreter, and may I approach with?
Oh, we do.
the-
Okay, sure. Come on up.
Hello, Cisco Unity Connection Messaging System.
Portuguese interpreter standing by.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
We are in courtroom 1 at the BRC. Can Mr. Feliciano hear me?
Senhor Feliciano, o senhor pode ouvir a juíza?
Mr. Interpreter, do you want to connect into the headset in BRC 1?
Give me 1 minute, Your Honor.
Sure. Are you connected to courtroom 1, sir?
Good morning, Your Honor. This is the Spanish interpreter, Laura Arroyo, state certified and previously sworn.
Great, thank you so much. We're in courtroom 1 at the BRC.
Yes.
Sir, good morning. Can you hear me?
Señor, buenos días. ¿Me escucha usted? Does the defendant have headsets on? I'm
He
not
does.
sure, Your
Yes,
Honor.
he does.
Okay. Give me a second. 0, 4.
Sí, ahora sí.
Connection is established.
Great, thank you. Good morning. Please tell me your name, sir.
Omar Feliciano Vélez.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm going to ask the deputies to please assist me and move one of the mics away from him. It's causing
Feedback.
interference. I just need him with one mic. Omar Feliciano Ovales.
All right, sir. You were here for an out-of-county plea out of Osceola County in case number 2009 MM 5104. Mr. Melendez, would you like to place your appearance on the record?
Alberto Melendez for the defense, Your Honor.
Thank you. So I'm confused as to what the agreement is. Can you tell me what the plea agreement is, Mr. Melendez?
It's a withhold and court costs agreements, Your Honor.
Is it time served?
Yes.
Okay. Because the plea form says 60D, 6 months SP 500.
Your Honor, I was writing the maximum amount for
Got
him
it.
up there, and in the very bottom, it should be the agreed upon disposition, which was just withhold and court costs.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. My
Okay.
apologies.
Mr. Feliciano, could you please raise your right hand to be sworn in, sir?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, sir. Did you have an opportunity to talk with your lawyer about this case, sir?
Yes.
Was he able to answer all of your questions?
Yes.
Did you review the plea form with him?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No.
Are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand that if you are not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes.
And sir, it's my understanding that you would like to enter a plea of no contest to the offense of petty theft with the negotiated agreement of a withhold of adjudication. How many days does Mr. Feliciano have?
He has 15 days in the Orange County Jail.
How many?
15.
15? Thank you. Sentence you, or they would be a withhold of adjudication, 15 days in the Orange County Jail, credit for 15 days time served, plus court costs, which are $268, and the public defender application fee of $50, payable but within 180 days of your release. Is that your understanding of the agreement, sir?
Yes.
Has your attorney also discussed with you the enhanceability of this offense?
Your Honor, I did not.
You did.
I did not.
You did not. Okay. So, sir, let me explain to you that a petty theft is a crime that can become more serious if you get arrested or convicted for another one. So today you're being sentenced, or you're entering a plea to a second-degree misdemeanor. The next time that you are charged with this crime, it could be charged as a first-degree misdemeanor, and then eventually it can be charged as a felony. Do you understand the what I'm explaining with regard to the enhanceability?
Yes.
Okay. And you'd like to enter a plea of no contest at this time?
Yes.
All right, sir, I will accept your plea, withhold adjudication, sentence you to 15 days in jail. You've got credit for 15 days time served. You will have to pay court costs. Those are going to be due by June 8th of 2021. And you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, sir. Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
I do have one concern. I believe that originally it was within 180 days of his release. I do have one concern. It's just that he does have another case going, and I'm not 100% sure how long that's going to be going for.
Okay, so what if we put in the order he has to pay within 180 days of his release from custody?
That would be perfect. Your
Okay.
Honor.
All right. Anything else?
Nothing
All right.
for the defense, Your Honor.
All right. Have a nice day, sir.
Thank Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, is the interpreter still needed for any more Spanish cases?
Yes.
Okay.
Spanish. I don't think so. Okay, got it. Okay, thank you. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Jose Robley.
Mr. Robley, I need to have you pull your mask up for me, please. That's okay. Thank you.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Apology accepted, sir. You're here in 20 MM 8598. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with the police to get your things if needed. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. I'm going to place you on pretrial release, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Benicio Gomez?
Sir, you were arrested in 20 CT 1021 for driving without a valid driver's license. There is probable cause. Ms. Bush, was there an offer for Mr. Gomez?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, don't drive without a valid driver's license, and court costs.
Mr. Gomez, did you want to accept the plea offer?
Yes.
Did you read the plea form?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights you're giving up?
No.
Are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand if you are not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
If you are not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation. Do you understand?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
Y'all have a moment to confer on a client.
Sure.
Were you appointed? Your Honor, was the PD appointed?
Are you an American?
No.
Are you an American citizen?
So he's doing this as a friend of the court
That's right.
because you were not appointed, Mr. Thompson.
I'm stepping in as a friend of the court, Your Honor.
And Your Honor,
Yes.
to move this along, the state will not have an objection to a withhold of
Okay, thank you, Ms.
adjudication.
All right, Mr. Thompson, I'm going to release him on his own recognizance at this time. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. And I'll appoint the public defender to represent him.
Yvette Ramos, bonded, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Juan Carlos Mejia Acosta.
Sir, you are here in case number 18 CF 663. It is alleged that you violated your probation. Your bond is set at none, sir. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're going to see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days. Thank you.
That should be all for the
Spanish. Okay. Thank you, Madam Interpreter. I hope you have a good weekend.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Are you ready for the Portuguese
wait.
interpreter? I can let him know.
I think I need to have your help with a witness. They're waving at me from the gallery.
Okay.
Okay. What case are they here on, ma'am?
It would be Crespo and Delgado,
Both of them?
and they are misdemeanor
DV?
DV.
Okay.
And Your Honor, Mr. Crespo will not be attending due to medical.
Okay. Let me just get to those. I've got Delgado. And there's Crespo. Misdemeanor DV. Mr. Delgado is medical, is that right, Dexter?
Yes, no, Mr. Crespo.
Crespo's medical. All right, who's here for Daniel Crespo Rodriguez?
Would you like me to announce it, Your Honor, out loud?
She's making her way into the box.
Okay.
Did you find it? Good morning, ma'am.
Buenos días, señora.
Please tell me your name.
Por favor, indique su nombre. Se tiene que acercar al micrófono, no se le oye.
Shakira Oviedo.
Takira Oviedo.
Ma'am, do you want to have contact with your husband?
Señora, ¿acaso desea usted tener contacto con su esposo?
Tenemos 2 hijos, tenemos que tener contacto, pero no quiero abuso.
We have children together, so we would have to have contact, but I don't want to deal with any more abuse.
Are you afraid of him, ma'am?
Señora, ¿acaso usted le tiene miedo a él?
No, solo que no quiero seguir con él.
No, I just don't want to be with him anymore.
Okay. Do you have concerns about your children's safety if I were to allow contact between him and the children?
Si yo fuera a permitir contacto entre él y los niños, ¿acaso usted tiene alguna preocupación con respecto a la seguridad de sus niños?
No.
No.
Is there a third party, ma'am, who could facilitate contact between you and the children and your husband?
¿Acaso tiene usted una tercera persona que podría ayudar en el contacto entre usted, su esposo y los niños?
No.
No.
Are you comfortable having contact with him regarding your children only?
¿Estaría usted cómoda teniendo contacto con él con respecto a solo lo de sus hijos?
Sí. Solo de
Yes.
ellos. No quiero saber
Just
nada.
for them. I'm sorry, I cannot hear him. Hear her. Repítalo más alto, no se le oyó lo que dijo.
Que sí, solamente contacto con él por los niños, más nada.
Yes, I just want contact with him regarding the children, but nothing more.
Okay. Ms. Bush, did you have any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Thompson?
No questions, Your Honor.
Ma'am, I'm going to order that he is not to have any contact with you except regarding your children.
Señora, ordenaré que él estará prohibido tener ningún tipo de contacto con usted, excepto cuando tenga que ver con los de los niños.
Okay, está bien.
He is to maintain a separate residence.
Estará él prohibido convivir con usted,
Okay.
¿ok?
He can return to the house one time with the police to get his things.
Se le permitirá a él regresar una vez a la vivienda escoltado por la policía para recoger sus cosas.
Okay.
And he's not to
Okay.
possess any weapons or firearms.
Y él estará prohibido tenencia de armas o armas de fuego.
I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500 or PTR if he qualifies.
Voy a fijar la fianza en $500 o libertad provisional si él cualifica para ello.
Ms. Bush?
Your Honor, with the exception of the contact with the court order, no hostile contact in regard to the children.
Con respecto a los niños, aparte de la excepción de que no haya ningún tipo de contacto, ¿se le permitirá a él tener contactos sin hostilidad con ellos?
Yes.
Sí.
And also, an order to comply with DCF. DCF was called.
Sure.
Y también una orden que le obliga a él a acatarse a lo que le pida el Departamento de Familias de Menores porque fueron llamados.
Thank you, ma'am.
Gracias, señora.
Está bien.
Thank you. Your Honor, can the interpreter have the case number for this?
Yes, sure. It is 20MM 8596.
Thank you. If that is all for the interpreter, she will disconnect. We have the Portuguese available.
With mom.
No, we have.
Madam Interpreter, we have one more.
Oh, sorry.
Sir, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
My name is Rafael Centeno.
I'm sorry, is it the victim that requires my services, Your Honor?
Pardon me?
Is it the victim that requires my service?
I believe it's both. No, just the victim. Okay, yes, Madam Interpreter, just the victim.
Okay.
This is 20MM590. Ma'am, good morning. Tell me your name.
My name is Evelina Delgado.
Ms. Delgado, you were arrested for battery. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Sir, good morning.
Buenos días, señor.
Tell me your name, please.
Por favor, indique su nombre.
Rafael Centeno.
Acérquese hacia el micrófono, señor.
My name is Rafael Centeno.
My name is Rafael Centeno.
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 Centeno. N-A-O.
Oh, Centeno with an N and an O.
Okay. Sir, do you want to have contact with your wife?
Señor, ¿desea usted tener contacto con su esposa?
Yes, Your Honor,
Yes, Your Honor.
can I speak? Can I speak?
Your Honor, he's asking if he can speak, but he's speaking in English.
So, sir, you have to speak in either Spanish or English. If you don't need the services of the interpreter, that's fine, but you would have to conduct the hearing in one language only.
What happened is, in case you don't understand what I'm saying, she's like a backup, but you understand what I'm saying right now, so...
Madam Interpreter, I can't hear anything you're saying at all.
Are you understanding?
Just a minute, please.
If I may, if he wants to proceed in English, that's fine, or in Spanish, but if he doesn't need my services, I can be in backup. We have a lot of calls coming in.
Absolutely, I understand. Sir, you need to tell me, do you want to have the hearing in English or Spanish?
Let's have it in English then.
He said in English.
Let's have it in English.
All right, Madam Interpreter, I'm very sorry. Thank you for your patience. That's all we have
No
this morning.
problem. And just for the record, we have the Portuguese available whenever you're ready.
Fantastic. I'll call back in just a moment.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Your Honor, can I speak?
Sir, you're going to have to speak directly into the microphone because I cannot hear anything that you're saying.
Your Honor, can I speak?
Is the microphone not working?
I don't hear anyone.
I believe the microphone is working.
Hello? I don't think it's
You
working.
have to speak directly into the microphone.
Yeah, I'm on top of it. I don't think it's working.
I literally can't hear a thing.
The microphone is not working. The microphone.
I think it is now.
Because
Sir, I realize that you're very tall, but you're going to have to bend over and speak into the microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Sir, it works, but you have to project. You have to speak up.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Louder.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Sir, do you want to have contact with your wife?
Yes. Can I speak?
Well, let me just ask you a couple of questions, sir. Are you afraid of her?
No.
Do you have any concerns about your safety or anyone else in the home safety if I were to allow contact between the two of you?
No.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Ms. Bush, do you have any questions for the witness?
Sir, are there children in the home?
Well, my children are grown-ups. They are
Okay. So there are no
20 years
children,
old.
there are no young children living
But
in the
my
home?
grandson,
I'm sorry?
my grandson lives at home.
Your grandson, how old is your grandson?
He's 6.
And do you have any concerns about his safety?
No. Can I say
have
something?
I have no further questions, sir.
Any questions, Mr. Thompson?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right.
Can I
Ma'am,
say
I'm in order that
something?
you're not to have any hostile contact with your husband. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
All right. And you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am. Thank you, sir. All right. I'm going to call the Portuguese interpreter. It's Mr. Ramos.
Portuguese
Delgado.
interpreter standing by.
Hi, good morning, sir. I apologize for earlier. I didn't realize that you were for the Portuguese case.
It's quite all right, Your Honor.
All right, and we're in courtroom 1 at the BRC if you want to connect to the headset.
Yes, in 1 second.
Thank you.
I should be connected by now, Your Honor.
Great. They're bringing him forward. Just a moment, please. Sir, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Henrique Ramos do Vale.
Henrique Ramos do Vale.
This is case number 18 CF 1413. You were arrested for leaving the scene of a crash with serious bodily injury and driving without a valid driver's license. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the victim and you're not to drive without a valid driver's license. Your bond on count 1 is $3,500. Your bond on count 2 is $100. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, he does have an immigration
Thank you,
detainer.
Ms. Davis. Yes, sir, I also need to inform you that you do have an immigration hold. Thank you.
Ok, e como que eu tenho que fazer agora?
Okay, what do I have to do now?
You need to wait for the immigration hold to be removed, and then you can post your bond.
Ok.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. And that's Mr. Mondesir.
Can the interpreter be dismissed, Your Honor?
We're finished. Thank you so much for your help this morning. Have a nice day.
Thank you, you too.
What about slaughter? Jill had brought me slaughter and said that that was also an interpreter case? And
No, it's a DV case.
Oh, an extra.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. It seemed odd to me that it was interpreter.
Creole name.
Mr. Mondesir.
Please.
Good morning. Is this the interpreter?
Yes. Hi. Good morning.
I'm going to call the case. This is 20 CF 14412. Sir, good morning. Please tell me your name.
My name
Bonjour,
is
monsieur. Okay.
Go ahead, Madam Interpreter.
I did not hear. The gentleman was speaking at the same time than me in English, so I did not quite hear what he was saying.
Yes, would you please just ask him his name?
Okay, monsieur Pigeon Ourélé, s'il vous plaît.
Seulement des yeux.
Tellement de Dieu.
Seulement des yeux.
Tellement de Dieu.
Sir, you were arrested for aggravated assault, domestic violence.
On t'est arrêté pour attaque grave, pour violence domestique.
Oui.
There is probable cause.
Gain assez évidence.
I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
Ma bon défenseur public pour représenter ou.
You're not to have any contact with the victim.
Ou pas capable de gagner aucun contact avec victime là.
You are to maintain a separate residence.
Ou besoin kembe on l'autre côté pour rete.
You may return one time with the police to get your things.
Ou capable retourner côté où t'es on grande fois ensemble avec la police pour prendre tout affaire ou.
You are not to possess any weapons or firearms.
Ou pas cap gen aucun zam ou bien aucun zam à feu.
I'm going to place you on pretrial release.
M'a mette ou nan relâche avant procès.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Merci, monsieur.
Merci, madam.
All right,
Thank
Madam
you.
Interpreter, thank you for your help this morning.
You're welcome.
Have a nice weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Robert Crew.
What is it?
Robert Crew.
Mr. Crew. Here we go. Yes, thank you. Mr. Crew, you're here in 20 MM 8585. You were arrested for trespassing. There is probable cause. Ms. Bush, do you have an offer for Mr. Crew?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication of guilt, 5 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no return to the scene, which is the post office on Egan-Lahatchie Trail. No contact with any witnesses. Abide by all trespass warnings and court costs.
All right. Sir, did you want to accept the offer?
Yes.
Did you read the plea form?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights on the form?
No.
Are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand if you are not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
Sir, I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 5 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days' time served.
Okay.
You're not to return to the scene, and you must abide by the trespass warning. You
Alright.
will have to pay court costs, which are going to be due by December 4th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal, sir, and I'm not going to take any action on your other case. Thank you.
All right.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Tell me your name.
James Osborne Summers.
Mr. Summers, you failed to appear in 20 MM 684
I have not appeared here before, no.
on a trespass case. Ms. Bush, do you have an offer?
No,
for
I
that
have not
case?
been here before, no.
And Your Honor, if I may have a moment.
Mr. Summers, did you want to resolve that case today?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I want to plead guilty, and I apologize. I didn't realize the laundromat was closed. I actually approached the curb to throw something away, and I was approached by the police officer. I didn't want to hide anything. I was not guilty, so I had nothing to hide, and I have a job. I explained pleasantly that this was not something I do often, to use a trash can. I usually use a trash can now and again. I'm not going to actually say that I don't use. Yes, me good. Furthermore, I threw something away in a trash can. I don't litter, so I'm accepting a guilty, and I apologize, and I will pay the bond at the location that's you provide me, and I'm
All right, well,
willing to do that.
thank you, Mr. Summers. Ms.
Yes.
Bush, did you have that offer?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication of guilt, 5 days Orange County Jail, 2
Okay.
days credit time served.
Perfect.
No return to any Disney property.
No, that
Abide
was-
by
no,
all
no,
trespass warnings, no contact with any witnesses, and court costs.
Absolutely.
You understand, Mr. Summers?
Yes.
All right. Did you read the plea form?
Yes, I did.
Do you have any questions about the rights on the form?
No, I don't.
Are
I'm
you on
sorry.
probation?
I'm sorry,
No,
Your Honor.
I'm
He actually has 4 days.
I
Time
don't have any
served.
court
Oh, thank
dates. No, I don't.
Mr. Summers, are you on probation?
No, I'm not.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, I understand. I am
Are
a
you
US
under
citizen.
the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, I'm not. No,
All right,
I
so I'm
might
going to
have just
accept
throw
your
that in.
plea. I just need
Thank
you to
you.
listen, Mr. Summers, okay?
Sure thing.
I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 5 days in jail. You've got credit
Okay.
for 4 days' time served.
Okay.
You're not to return to any Disney properties.
Absolutely
You need
not.
to abide by the trespass warning. You can't
Yeah.
have any contact with the witnesses.
No.
You'll have to pay court costs, which will be due by December 4th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you.
Good morning, your name?
Michael Butterworth.
Michael what?
Butterworth.
Mr. Butterworth? Got it. Okay. How about Miss Pacheco?
She refused, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to find a waiver of her appearance based upon her refusal to come to court in 20 MM 6772. She failed to appear for pretrial conference. Her bond is set at $2,000. I'll appoint the public defender if they weren't previously appointed. This is a Division 85 case. Her pretrial conference will be January 11th at 9 a.m., courtroom 4A. Mr. Butterworth, sir, you are here in 20 CF 10693. It is alleged that you have violated your probation. Your bond is set in the amount of $2,500. I will appoint the public defender to represent you, sir.
Ma'am, while I'm here, I became mentally unstable and I'm on medication.
Okay,
And they're not letting me receive my medication here.
okay.
How do we solve this problem?
You need to get in touch with your public defender right away and let them know what's going on, and they'll be able to know what they need to do to help you resolve that issue.
All right, because
All right, sir.
my wife agreed to bring it up to the jail.
I don't know the rules about that. So
All
that,
right,
again,
I'm
you have to
sorry.
talk to the public defender about that and see what they can do to help you, okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good morning, your name?
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Brian A. Ibarra.
Yes, sir, you are here in 17 CF 10718. It is alleged that you have violated your probation.
Yes,
Your
I'm here to
bond,
gain
sir-
restitution.
Pardon me?
I'm here to gain restitution and to seek the difference of a lawyer.
Okay, so that's not what we're here for today. So today,
Okay.
I'm just telling you why you were arrested, what your bond
Yes,
amount
ma'am.
is.
I have the paperwork.
Perfect. So then you need to talk to your lawyer, and they'll be able to file or help you file any additional motions, or you can attempt to file a motion with the court. But your bond is set at none, and you're going to see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Rodney Goodman, they have me down as Roger.
I see, sir. You're here for an out-of-county warrant out of Volusia County. It's related to failing to appear in court on a possession of a controlled substance and trespassing. Your bond on count 1 is $500. Your bond on count 2 is $500. It's a cash bond only. It's a total of $1,000, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
Darius Clayton.
Mr. Clayton, you're here in 20 CF 13925. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for aggravated battery on a pregnant person, domestic violence battery, robbery, tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement, and burglary of a dwelling with an assault or battery. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the victim. You're not to return to the scene. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Mr. Thompson, did you want to be heard?
Yes, can I have a moment to confer, Your Honor?
Sure.
So, this charge right here, this punishment. Your Honor, we will be holding the state to the verdict today.
You will?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Bush, are you proceeding as to proof evident presumption grade?
Yes, Your Honor, based on the sworn affidavit to issue the warrant, the state would ask the court to find that proof is evident or presumption is great based on the facts provided by the victim who has personal knowledge of Mr. Clayton And based on the facts contained within that affidavit, the state would ask the court find that Mr. Clayton is the person so identified, and that proof is evident or presumption is great that he's identified, and hold him at no bond as to count 5.
Mr. Thompson?
Your Honor, the defense will ask the court not to find proof evident presumption great with the burden being higher than beyond a reasonable doubt. It's incumbent upon the state to show that there's no question of my client's guilt with the evidence contained in the 4 corners of the arrest affidavit. The defense will point out to the court that all we have are the alleged victim statements in this case, but there's no substantial evidence to corroborate her accounts of my client being in her home and either assaulting or battering her. There's video footage of the incident, but all the actions take place outside of the home, which gives probable cause to the rest of the to the rest of the charges. But there's no independent witnesses or no independent witness account of a battery or an assault taking place inside of the alleged victim's home. There's no report of anyone seeing my client enter or exit the home. There's no DNA evidence linking my client to being inside of the house at this particular time. The defense will argue that a reasonable jury could, it will be up to a jury to decide whether they believe my client was in the home or not. But whether he was in there or not is seriously in question at this time. And if the court finds that it is in question at this time, the state hasn't met their burden to prove that there's no question of my client's guilt as it pertains to the burglary of a dwelling with an assault or battery therein. So I will ask the court not to find proof evident presumption great.
The court does not believe that the state has met their burden to establish that there is proof evident or presumption great with respect to count 5, so I will set bond for Mr. Clayton. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $50,000. Bond on count 2 will be $150. Bond on count 3, $150. Bond on count 4, $100. Bond on count 5, $150. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Your Honor, you said bond on count 5 is 100 or 50,000?
It's 50,000. Bond on count 1 is 150. They're all subsidiaries except for count 5.
Your Honor, are there any other conditions?
I did those first.
You gave them first.
Good morning. Your name?
Don A. Jennings.
Mr. Jennings, sir, you were here in 20 CF 14422. You were arrested for battery, tampering with a witness, and aggravated assault. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence.
Yes, ma'am.
You may return one time with the police to get your things if needed. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms.
Yes, ma'am.
Bond on count 1 is 100. Bond on count 2 is 150. Bond on count 3 is 1,500. Thank you, sir. Good morning. Your name?
Desmond Williams.
Mr. Williams, you are here in case number 20 CF 14290. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for aggravated stalking, contempt of court, violation of a no contact order, and written threats to kill or do bodily harm. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the witness, or I'm sorry, with the victim. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, and you are to follow all court orders that are currently in place. Your bond on count 1 is going to be $5,000. Your bond on count 2 is $150. Your bond on count 3 is $150. I'm revoking the bonds in 20 CF 3433 and 20 CF 3452. Those bonds will be set at none, sir. Thank you.
I didn't understand.
Your bonds on your other cases are revoked.
Okay.
Okay?
So
Thank
only have one bond basically.
Correct.
And that'll be on the.
On the new case.
Okay.
Yeah, they can't bond out on the other ones, but we could file bond motions downtown to see if we can get those bonds reinstated.
So if I was to bond,
You can't bond out today. So you don't, our bond charges are set at 0. So we have to file motions downtown to see if we get those bonds reinstated. So the attorneys assigned to your case are gonna contact you and tell you about that. You can't bond out.
Pre-trial release or nothing.
Good morning, your name?
Jimmy Williams.
Mr. Williams, you are here in 20 CF 14424. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for aggravated stalking, robbery, tampering with a witness, battery, violation of pretrial release, and criminal mischief. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're not to return to the scene. And you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Bond on count 1 is going to be $150. Bond on count 2 is $5,000. Bond on count 3, $150, 4, $100, 5, $100, 6, $100. I'm revoking the bond in 20 MM 8438. That bond will be set at none. Thank you, sir. Good morning, your name?
Good morning, how you doing? My name is Naraya Bass.
Ms. Bass, this is 20 MM 8595. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the victim.
Okay.
You're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, ma'am.
Can I ask a question, Your Honor?
Sure.
My mom is disabled. She has multiple sclerosis, and I do majority of the taking care of her.
Okay.
And my sibling happens to live at the house with her. Would it be okay if I contact my mother and make sure my sibling's not there when I have to do things for my mother?
That's exactly what you need to do.
Thank you.
As long as your sister's not there, you can be there.
Okay, thank
All right,
you.
and you're allowed to have contact with your mom.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Can I place Ms. Bass on pretrial?
Yeah, you can, Your
Ms. Bass, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Thank you so much, Your
Thank you,
Honor.
ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great holiday.
You too. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Good morning, Your Honor. Michael Logan.
Mr. Logan, this is 20 MM 8600. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You can return one time with the police to get your things. And you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You're also not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription. Your bond is $1,000. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, may I just address the court real quick, if I may?
Sure.
This is the, I just wanted to put it on the record that
Hey, don't talk about, she don't talk about that case that's before. They say terms like this, taking notes.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Are you all set, sir?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Brianna Perez.
Ms. Perez, you were arrested in 20 MM 8593 for battery. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Tell me your name, please.
My name is Nathan Vega.
Mr. Vega, do you want to have contact with Ms. Perez?
Yes, I would love contact with her.
Are you afraid of her?
No, ma'am.
Pardon me?
No, ma'am.
And you live together, correct?
Yes, ma'am. In fact, we live together and we have a child. We have a 1-year-old.
Right. Do you want to continue living together?
Yes, ma'am, for sure.
All right. Do you have any concerns about your child safety if I were to allow contact between the two of you?
No, ma'am. The only concern I have is when will she be home? Because she's an Army veteran. She collects financial aid for going to Valencia College. She's got school work that she needs to have done within this week. Our rent is due, and she's the one that provides that. So my only concern would just be when she can come home.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Vega.
Thank you.
Ms. Bush, do you have any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Thompson?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Press, I'm going to order that you're not to have any hostile contact with Mr. Vega. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
You're also not to possess any weapons or firearms, and I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Vega.
Thank you. You have a last one.
You too. Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Ashvini Ramsundar.
Ma'am, you're here in 20 MM 8599. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with the police to get your things if needed. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Nicole Toll.
Ms. Toll, this is 20 MM 8591. You were arrested for battery domestic violence.
Correct.
There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with the police to get your things if needed. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, ma'am.
Okay. You can place her on pretrial release, Your Honor.
I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Kevin Holmes.
How about Mr. Slaughter?
Ma'am?
Quentin, just one second, Mr. Holmes. Quentin Slaughter?
Give us one moment.
No problem.
Pass by.
Sure. Mr. Holmes, sir, you are here. In case number 20 CT 1580, you were arrested for driving while license suspended. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. What's Mr. Holmes' detainer?
It's a conditional release detainer just to advise you, in this case, that he's on parole.
Okay. Oh,
So
I see on the face sheet.
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, I'm going to set your bond at $500. Thank you.
So I can, would I be able to bond out today?
No, not today. We have to get, we're in contact with the parole officer just to see if they want to take any action.
You know, I get off on the 7th though.
I saw that.
I
That's up to them what they're going to do, Mr. Holmes. We don't know.
So can I ask one more question? Like, regardless if that's my like max that DOC sentenced me to, I mean that I was sentenced to.
Mr. Holmes, I don't have an answer for you. That's a legal question, and I can't give you any legal advice.
Your Honors, the court not taking any action on his out on release.
It's not an out on release.
It's not out on release?
No, it's just to advise the judge that he's on parole.
Oh, okay, I had it that he was out on ROR. This is Kevin Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, sir. Your name?
Quentin Slaughter.
Mr. Slaughter, this is 20 CF 12478. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for burglary of an occupied conveyance, battery, domestic violence, grand theft of a dwelling, and tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Tell me your name, please.
Taisha Chenault.
Ma'am, you have to speak directly into the
Taisha
microphone, or
Chenault.
otherwise I can't hear you. What's your name?
Taisha Chenault.
Ma'am, I cannot hear you.
Taisha Chenault.
Miss Chenault, do you want to have contact with Mr. Slaughter?
Yes.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
Do you live together?
No.
No? How long have you been in a relationship?
A few years.
And during the course of your relationship, have there been instances of violence between the two of you?
No.
Do you have children together?
Yes.
How many?
One.
Do you
But
have
I
any
have 2 kids. I have 2 kids at my household.
But just one with Mr. Slaughter?
Mhm.
Okay. Do you have any concerns about your children's safety, either of their safety?
No.
Okay. Ms. Bush, do you have any questions?
Your Honor, I apologize. I don't even have Mr. Slaughter, so.
Oh.
Yep.
Felony section.
Oh, okay. So,
But it was a domestic case also.
okay. If I may have just a moment, Your
Sure,
Honor.
no problem. I need to talk to someone about the microphone situation. Can you hear? Okay. I feel terrible.
And I apologize, Your Honor, I have to pull the affidavit for the warrant up as well. Ms. Chenault,
Yes.
good morning.
Good morning.
I didn't quite hear how long you and Mr. Slaughter had been in a relationship.
We've been in a relationship for years, but it's been like on and off, like, you know.
Okay. And over the course of your relationship, has there ever been any violence?
No, never.
And if something like this were to happen again, and you felt that you were threatened, would you be comfortable calling law enforcement?
Yes, but I'm sure it's not, it won't happen again. It was a huge misunderstanding about the whole situation.
Okay. And do you have any concerns about your 2 children witnessing violence between the adults in the home?
No.
I have no further questions. Thank you, ma'am.
Any questions, Mr. Thompson?
No questions, Your Honor.
Bond on count 1 is $3,500. Bond on count 2 is $100. Bond on count 3 is $150. Bond on count 4 is $150. Sir, you're not to have any hostile contact with the victim. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, ma'am.
You are also not to possess any weapons or firearms. However, I am revoking the bond in 20 CF 7737. That bond's going to be set at none. Thank you, sir.
Ma'am.
Sir. The bond on your out-on-bond case, I'm revoking that bond. You'll have to have your lawyer file a bond motion with the trial judge. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Colin Sunday?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Okay.
LaQuisha Tatum, also bonded. Paul Hope, bonded.
And was Hope in misdemeanor non-playable? Or trap? Misdemeanor playable. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name.
Ashley Ann Rivera. Ashley Ann Rivera.
Miss Rivera, this is 20MM9920. You were arrested for petty theft and contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
Yes.
There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time, ma'am. Oh, actually, I'm going to place you on pretrial release.
Okay, I have a question. How does that pre-child work? Because this is the first time I ever got arrested, and I'm not quite sure how it works.
They didn't explain it to you, but they explain to you back.
Yeah.
Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Jessica Lee Egan.
Miss Egan, you failed to appear in 20MM211 for arraignment related to trespassing. Miss Bush, was there an offer for Miss Egan?
Your Honor, may I have just a moment to switch? And I need to get out of Osceola County. That's
okay.
The problem.
Medical. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. The offer would be an adjudication of guilt, 7 days, Orange County Jail. I do not know the credit time served. No return to the scene, which is the Draftline Technologies at 400 North New York Avenue in Winter Park. No contact with witnesses. Abide by all trespass warnings and court costs.
All right. Ms. Egan, the offer is an adjudication of guilt, 7 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days time served, and you're not to return to the scene of the trespass. Did you want to accept the offer?
Oh, God. I guess so.
Okay.
If I say yes, can I not get bonded out?
No, you can post your bond.
Okay.
Would you rather do that?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'd rather post bond.
Okay. Your bond's $2,000, ma'am.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you.
$2,000?
Yes, it is.
I thought it was 1,000.
Did I say it?
My paperwork
Oh,
says
it is 1,000. You're correct.
Okay.
Sorry
all
about
right.
that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Charles Lee.
Mr. Lee, this is 20MM 7763. You failed to appear for arraignment on the offense of criminal mischief. The bond is $2,000, sir.
Was
I'll
that-
appoint the public defender to represent you.
Was that 2 days ago? Because I went to the courthouse and I also got in contact with Christy Facani, which is my public defender.
Okay.
And she told me that I didn't have any court appearances to go to. And then I went to the court appearance for one of the
the situations, I believe it was for 7:30 and I showed up at 9. They gave me a diversion. I did the diversion, and they dropped the case. So I was unsure, what date was my court date because of the fact that I was forced out of my home and my change of address didn't go through. And I still haven't received any incoming mail pertaining to these situations. So I was doing my due diligence to try to make it to my court sessions, but I wasn't provided with the necessary documentation from my public defender, nor was I receiving any type of mail. I do apologize. And also my mom already posted my bond for the last time that I was in here, and they issued this warrant while I was already detained in 1F.
Mr. Lee, I don't see any reference to any of that in the file. I do see that you failed to appear for court on the 1st of December.
I also was supposed to receive an email after I left court that day stating all the information pertaining to the case. If I have the opportunity, I would love to be able to pull up my email and provide you with the documentation.
Your Honor, I see that he has several open cases.
Okay. Sir, your bond is $2,000. Thank you. Good morning, your name?
Quentin Morgan.
Mr. Morgan, you're here in 20 MM 7475. You failed to appear for court, sir, for arraignment. Your bond is set at $2,000. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you, and I'm not going to take any action on your out on bond cases, sir.
Your Honor, is that for both counts? I'm
Yep.
showing 2 counts.
Yes, it's $2,000 on each count for a total of 4. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Mr. Brown.
Good morning.
Sir, you're here on a violation of probation in 20 MM 170. It is alleged that you committed the new law offense of burglary of a dwelling, criminal mischief, and possession of cannabis less than 20. The bond is set at none, sir. I know that you are being represented by Mr. Horween, and that you filed a motion with Judge Dubois, but I'm going to give you a court date. It's Judge Dubois' VOP date, and it's January 5th at 9 a.m. in courtroom 10B. Okay? Thank you, sir. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Good morning.
You Mr. Harrison?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Harrison, you are here in 20 CO 1013 for soliciting without a permit. There is probable cause. Ms. Bush, can we resolve both of his solicitings today?
Yes, Your Honor. I just need to pull his other one up.
Sure. Looks like it was a notice to appear.
Unfortunately, Your Honor, because the state files information in the COs, this case, CO case has not been filed yet. The 2020 CO 1011 has not been filed yet.
I think the statute allows to resolve a CO or an MO.
I am not aware of that, Your Honor. We generally do not handle the CO cases because the CO cases are done by information. This case would not go before the court unless we file an information on it.
Find it right now. I feel like we've had this conversation before, but I can't find the actual rule. I'm just not going to take any action on the other soliciting case at this time.
And on today's matter, Your Honor, it would be an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, and court costs.
All right. Mr. Harrison, did you want to accept the offer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights on
No,
the
ma'am.
form? Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days time served. You're going to have to pay court costs. Those are going to be due by December 4th of 2021. And you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing. And I'm going to look up your other case real quick to give you the court date so that you don't miss it on that notice to appear, sir, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I believe it's December 29th, Your Honor.
Okay, give the time.
I believe that's what I saw. Yes, arraignment on December 29th.
All right, sir, so you need to be at the Orange County Courthouse on December 29th for your other open case, sir, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
At 7:30?
7:30.
Yeah.
Good morning, your name?
Jimmy Jackson.
Did Mr. Hawk bond? Nope. Terrell Hawk, 2002-6433.
Yes, Your Honor.
He bonded, okay.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Jackson, good morning. You're here in 19 CF 2441. You have allegedly violated your probation. Your bond, sir, is set at none. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're going to see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Your name, sir?
Talvez Libanarki.
Mr. Key, did I see you yesterday?
Yes, ma'am. You seen
Okay,
me
I thought
yesterday
so.
and the day before that.
Okay. This is 20 CF 4388. You've allegedly violated your probation, sir. Your bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you, and you're going to see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days.
Okay, and when I see Judge Whitehead, that'll be for the VOP?
Correct.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Angela King.
Ms. King, you're here in 20 CF 2167 for allegedly violating your probation. Your bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Excuse me. You're going to see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Good morning. My name is Johnnery Emmanuel Mena Gutierrez.
Yes, sir. You're here in 17 CF 12286. You've allegedly violated your probation. Your bond, sir, is set at none. Also in 17 CF 13283, it's also alleged that you have violated your probation. Your bond in that matter is also set at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in both cases.
Excuse me, what was the amount you said?
Pardon me?
What was the amount?
You don't have a bond, sir.
Oh, okay.
And you're going to see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Good morning, sir. Your name?
Michael Reed, ma'am.
Mr. Reeves, you were here in 08 CF 5928 for allegedly violating your probation.
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're going to see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days, and you do have reporting requirements when you're released from the jail.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Maria Baez Bonnie, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good morning, your name?
Good morning, Cesar Morales, Cruz.
Mr. Morales, you're here for an out-of-county warrant out of Lake County, Florida. Your bond is set at none, sir. And Lake County is going to come and pick you up.
My first time doing this. How does that really work? I don't know anything.
So the sheriff's department will get in touch with the sheriff's department in Lake County and tell them you're ready for pickup if you don't have any local charges, and they'll come to get you and take you to Lake County, and when you get there, you'll see a judge.
Any time on that?
I'm not sure when they're gonna come.
I don't have any family here. I just got to tell them back in Puerto Rico what's going on.
Okay. Well, I'll appoint the public defender here in Orange County to represent you, to help you coordinate with Lake County if needed, but I think they're gonna come get you.
Today or?
It won't be today, probably not until like maybe like Wednesday, I'm thinking. But I don't know for sure.
All right.
All right, thank you. Good morning, your name?
Sam Smith.
Mr. Smith, you are here for a violation of your pretrial release conditions out of Volusia County. At this time, your bond is set at none, and Volusia County will come pick you up. But if not, I'll appoint the public defender here in Orange County to help you coordinate if needed. All right, thank you, sir. Ms. Bush, just let me know when you're ready.
This date's ready, Your Honor.
All right. 20 CF 11681, Gus Fennell Jr.
A no information notice on 12/2.
That'll be granted. 20 CF 13153, Sean Cronin.
A notice of non-filing on December 3rd.
That will be granted. 20 CF 13198, Jeremiah Waldron.
A notice of non-filing on December 3rd.
That'll be granted. 20 CF 13177, Michael Scarlett II.
And information was filed on December 3rd. Filing ID is 117628549.
That'll be denied. And court will be in recess unless there's anything else. No?
There's nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Okay.
Nothing from the bench, Your Honor.
All right, court will be in recess. Good afternoon, Mr. Belsaint. Mr. Burke, would you like to place your appearance on the record?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Eric Barker. I'm here on behalf of Mr. Belsaint.
All right. Mr. Belsaint, you have two new cases, 20 CF 14404, and 20 CF 14391. In each case, you were arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle. They were both pursuant to a warrant. In each case, you are not to have any contact with the victim. In 14404, I'm going to set bond at $1,000, and CF 14391, I'm going to set bond at $1,000. And Mr. Barker, these don't affect the out on bond cases either.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. So I understand the hold will be released. I would ask, though, if the court would consider RORing Mr. Valsain. These are cases. He turned himself in on the last one that we were here for on Monday. Last night, I got a text from Detective Burtz from Winter Garden Police Department at 6:30, indicating that these warrants were active. He texted me again at 8:53, a little bit less than an hour and a half later, saying thank you. He turned himself in very quickly. He's got family here. He's already out on bond on 2 cases. It's just a real strain on the family. Even though the bonds that the court set were fairly low, appreciate that. I'd ask the court if it would consider RORing him on these 2 cases.
Okay, Ms. Bush, did you want to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor. Though these cases precede the cases that he's out on release on, the state does not feel that, based on the fact that it's a continuous pattern of the same crime, the state would ask that the court stay the bonds as set. And that's primarily for the protection of the community as well, though I do see that he's only had 1 prior failure to appear, and that was in 2016, Your Honor.
Mr. Barker, I will grant your request and release Mr. Valsain on his own recognizance as to those 2 cases. Is Mr. Valsain working, sir?
That's all.
Do you work? I know he trains.
I'm a professional boxer. So I'm self-employed.
Okay, when do you train?
I train every day.
What time?
Like from 6 in the morning to like 7 at night. So
All right, so you're going to be in the house from 8 a.m. or I'm sorry, from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m.
yeah,
Okay, you're going to have a curfew.
yeah.
And you, like I said, you're not to have any contact with any of the victims in either cases. Yeah, I think that's appropriate based upon the facts. Mr. Valsain also has never, doesn't have any prior convictions, and he does have the 1 failure to appear in 2016. So I'm confident that Mr. Valsain is going to appear in court.
Okay. You understand your curfew?
Yeah.
Your home is strict curfew, okay? All right.
Anything else?
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Morning. Ma'am?
Tell me your name.
Oh, Dalton Ayers.
Mr. Ayers, this is 20 CF 14423. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for escape, aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer, and grand theft of a motor vehicle. This was pursuant to a warrant. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is $75,000. Your bond on count 2 is $25,000. Your bond on count 3 is $1,000. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
James Carnley. Good afternoon to yourself.
Mr. Carnley, you have 2 cases. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in both. In
Yes, ma'am.
20 CF 7741, you were arrested for lewd or lascivious molestation on a victim less than 12. This was pursuant to a warrant. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. And in 19 CT 37176, you were arrested for driving without a valid driver's license. It's an out-of-county warrant out of Brevard County. The bond in that matter is $4,000. In the Orange County case, you are not to have any contact with any children under the age of 18. You are not to have any contact with the victim. You are not to possess weapons or firearms, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Thompson?
Yeah, have a moment.
Sure.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor, we will be holding the state to their burden today.
You will be?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Bush.
Your Honor, the state would ask the court to take into consideration the sworn affidavit for the arrest warrant. In that arrest warrant, that affidavit, there are facts that are provided by his daughter, who is the child victim in this matter, and the facts also contain images that law enforcement was able to extract from both the child's phone and Mr. Carmley's phone. And the child identified one of those photos, which was a photo that, or an incident that she had described to law enforcement previously before they were able to extract that photo, of a picture of the child holding Mr. Carnley's penis in her hand. At that time, the child was approximately 11 years old. The state would ask the court to find that proof is evident or presumption is great that Mr. Carnley is the person so identified as the one that did commit lewd, lascivious molestation of his minor daughter and hold him at no bond. The state would also ask the court to take into consideration the facts that are contained within that affidavit that show that Mr. Carnley is inclined to leave the state of Florida, take his children, and leave. So the state would ask the court to hold him at no bond.
Thank you. Mr. Thompson?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense asked the court not to find proof of the presumption great. There's no substantial evidence to suggest that there's no question of my client's guilt, which is the burden that the state will have to meet today. I believe within the four corners of the arrest affidavit, they have a better argument for like a possession of child pornography or various things of that nature. A couple of things I just want to go over briefly, Your Honor. The alleged victim's statement, there's no DNA evidence to corroborate her account. There's no concrete evidence to corroborate her account either, Your Honor. In one of the pictures, the alleged victim is holding a penis in one of the photos, but there's no, the male space in that photograph is not visible. So at this time, that male is unknown. Also, the law enforcement officer stated that there's no date or time stamp, so there's no determination of when that photo was taken and whether the alleged victim in this case was indeed under the age of 12 at the time that photo was taken. There's another photo, Your Honor, of the alleged victim also appears to be touching my client according to what the law enforcement states, but I would like to point out to the court that at that particular time, my client is asleep. The AV knew of this fact per text messages that were recovered between her and another person, and my client did not know about the touching or didn't consent to the touching at that time. And there's also reasonable explanations of why these photographs may be in my client's phone, because allegedly he caught her sending those photos to other people and were mad and was mad about it. just reading the arrest affidavit period, Your Honor, there's a lot of facts and evidence to unpack here, and a reasonable jury, given the evidence so far, can either believe my client or not believe that my client is guilty. And because of this fact, the defense will argue that the state has not met their burden because there's no clear-cut evidence to suggest my client's guilt required of a proof evident presumption grade finding, Your Honor. And for that fact, I will ask the court not to make that determination at this time.
The state has met their burden to establish that there is proof evident or presumption great based upon the information that is contained in the affidavit for your arrest, Mr. Carnley. So at this time, bond will remain at none. Your lawyer can file a bond motion in Division 12, and the judge there can determine whether or not they'd like to exercise discretion in setting a bond. Thank you, sir.
We gotta wait for that. And Your Honor, for the record, I just wanted to put on the record that I advised my client of the ramifications of me making this argument here today, and he wanted me to go forward.
Okay, sure, thank you. Good afternoon, your name? Mr. Gay, this is 20 CF 14380. You were arrested for possession of a controlled substance without a prescription. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond, sir, is $100. Thank you.
Your Honor, that was 100.
100. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Egan.
Sir, you were here in 20 CF 14392. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for 2 counts of sexual battery on a child between the ages of 12 and 17 by a person greater than 18, and another count of sexual battery on a child between the ages of 12 and 17 by a person over 18. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Sir, you are not to have any contact with the victim or any witnesses in this case. You are also not to have any contact with any children under the age of 18. Mr. Thompson?
Your Honor, because the victim is 16 years old, this isn't punishable by life in the state of Florida. It is a felony of the first degree, punishable by up to 30 years, but not life.
I don't think so, Mr. Thompson.
Punishable not to exceed life.
I looked it up in my office, but I'll look at it again. I believe it's a life felony. He's over 18 and the person's under 18. But I'll double check it. A person 18 years of age or older who commits sexual battery upon a person 12 years of age or older but younger than 18 without that person's consent and in the process does not use physical force and violence likely to cause serious personal injury commits a felony of the first degree.
And it's punishable by up to 30 years, but it's not a PBL. PBL, the victim has to be 12 or under, and there has to be penetration.
Your Honor, if I may have just one moment. It's punishable not to exceed life, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, if I could explain that, not to...
No. The statute, I'm sorry, I was reading 5A. The statute that they've charged is 4B. Or I'm sorry, is 4A. It's 4A. So a person 18 years of age or older who commits sexual battery upon a person 12 years of age or older, but younger than 18, without that person's consent under any of the circumstances listed in paragraph E, commits a felony of the first degree punishable by a term not to exceed life. And then if you look at the areas in E,
I don't believe any of those conditions are present in this case, Your Honor.
you might be right. Ms. Bush?
Your Honor, I'm looking at subsection E as well. if the subsection E does take it out of the not to exceed life,
I thought it was a
if I may have
PDF.
just one moment.
And
Your
it's not
Honor.
a familial or custodial.
No, it's
It's
not.
not charged that way. It's charged under 4A,
And based,
which is interesting because there wouldn't be probable cause in the warrant.
no, Your Honor, and based on the way it's charged, and the way it's charged does not comport with the facts contained within the affidavit. There is a familial relationship here.
Right, the affidavit indicates that the alleged victim was living with
And
Mr.
that-
Dedan at the
That
time.
would take it into the custodial, but it's not charged under that statute.
Well, I can't find probable cause for an offense higher than what is charged.
That is
So-
correct, Your Honor, and if I may, I'm just going back through.
Thank you, I'm kind of thinking out loud. So I think I'm gonna find probable cause based upon the facts contained in the arrest affidavit for 011 sub 5A is what it would be.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that statute number, Your Honor? I'm sorry.
It's 794.011 5A, which is the one that you were relying on. Which is a first-degree felony punishable by 30. Mr. Danan, I don't know what the state's going to ultimately charge you with. This is just a preliminary matter. They can file charges for whatever they think that the facts fit. But based upon the information that I have today, I don't think that I can hold Mr. Dedan at no bond.
No, Your Honor. However, the court is finding probable cause under 5A or 4A as it's charged. 4A without the enhancements of subsection E is punishable, is a 30-year crime. 5A
No.
is a person
I see 4A is the life felony, right?
4A is a life felony if any of the enhancements under subsection C are applicable.
Right.
Otherwise, it is a 30.
Under sub B. Or no, I'm sorry. No, I think it's 5A, Ms. Bush. I don't think that you can cite 4A because you'd have to include subsection E.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I just read 4A as being that unless sub E came into play, but
No.
I
so
understand what the court said.
The correct statute would be 5A. Okay. For all three counts will be under 5A. Yeah, because count 1 has 2 counts next to it. Mr. Dedan, you have a passport?
Yes.
Your passport will need to be surrendered within 24 hours of your release from custody, sir. I'm setting bond at $100,000 on count 1 of count 1, $50,000 on count 2 of count 1, and $20,000 on count 2. Thank you, sir. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Pierre Morgan.
This is 20 CF 14408. Sir, you were arrested for carrying a concealed weapon, carjacking with a firearm or weapon, aggravated assault with intent to commit a felony, and use of a firearm during the commission of a felony. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I find probable cause in counts 1, 3, and 4, but I do not find probable cause for a carjacking. Ms. Bush, did you want to be heard?
Me?
Your Honor, if I may.
Sure.
Your Honor, the state would ask for 24 hours.
Okay. I will grant their request for the additional 24 hours. I'll stay the bonds as to each count at this time. Your case will be reset for tomorrow, sir.
Can I
Thank
say
you.
something, Your Honor?
No.
Not the wrong person. I have a video. It's the wrong person.
It's not gonna do a deal right here. Your Honor, the only concern I have with the 24 hours is that tomorrow, we're gonna have like one of the misdemeanor attorneys covering IAs, and I don't know if they're gonna be equipped to make an argument after proof evidence presumption great if the state gets probable cause on the carjacking.
Mr. Thompson, they're entitled to the 24 hours under the rule.
All right.
So maybe you could leave some notes for the lawyer as to what you think they might argue.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Good afternoon, Jose Rodriguez.
Your Honor, I have a probable cause challenge as to this case.
Well, it's pursuant to a warrant, Mr. Thompson.
Okay.
But I feel that this warrant has the same problem as the last warrant in that I don't think that the facts support the subsection that's charged. They charged it under 4A, but I don't believe that any of the facts support the qualifiers in subsection E.
The facts don't comport with the physically helpless qualifiers. I haven't closed the statute, so
That's all
I'm
right.
going back to it.
I'm representing you today, but there's going to be an attorney that's going to be assigned to your case. You're entitled to a law, but I'll get one right now. Wait, just wait. Because we're going to court, so just wait.
I agree, Your Honor, that sleeping does not.
The facts substantiate that she was awake. She wasn't asleep. If she would have been asleep, then she would have been physically helpless, which would be under subsection 1 of that section, of section E. But that's not what the facts in the affidavit state.
I agree, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm gonna find probable cause for purposes of this hearing under 794.0115A, which is a first-degree felony punishable by 30 years. Mr. Rodriguez, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are not to have any contact with any witnesses in this case. You're not to have any contact with any children under the age of 18. You are not to return to the scene. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Do you have a passport, sir?
I do.
You need to surrender your passport within 24 hours of your release, and that will need to be surrendered to the clerk of the court or to your attorney. Thank you, sir.
What's the bond, Your Honor?
Passport.
Oh.
Our office or state attorney.
What does that mean?
Your bond, sir, is $75,000.
Yeah, you have to turn over your passport. Look. There's a number to our office. You call us so we can explain everything to you.
Does that mean you're not lose my citizenship?
You're not going to use a citizenship, so you want to take it so you can't leave the country. So you have to turn it in within 24 hours. All right? Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Dulac, refusal.
Finding a waiver of adherence based upon his refusal in 20 CF 14420. He was arrested for introducing contraband into a county facility, possession of cocaine, and tampering with physical evidence. Bond is 1,000 on count 1, 150 on 2 and 3. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Jose Antuna.
Mr. Antuna, this is 20 CF 14411. You were arrested for grand theft 3rd degree. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to return to the scene, sir. Your bond is $2,500. Thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Yolanda Maria Yala Ramos.
This is 20 CF 14372. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine, possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of heroin. There's probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. And I'm going to have you randomly tested through pretrial release. I'm not going to revoke your bond on your out on bond case, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you staying the bond, Your Honor?
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. 1,000, 150, 100, 150. Mr. Blotzer? Sure. Sir, tell me your name, please.
Shannon Brewer.
Mr. Brewer, you are here in case number 20 CF 13448. You were arrested for operating a chop shop, grand theft of a motor vehicle, grand theft 2nd degree, and possession of ammunition by a convicted felon. This was pursuant to a warrant. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you, sir.
Is there any way I can get the bond reduced some please?
Excuse me?
Is there any way I can get the bond reduced some?
Well, no, sir. I'm actually going to be revoking your bond because the warrant is alleging that you committed these offenses between May 18th, 2020 and November 5th of 2020, and you're already out on bond for grand theft of a motor vehicle.
That what?
And you were arrested on June 19th of 2020. So I'm going to stay the bonds in this case at 5,000 on count 1, 1,000 on count 2, 2,500 on counts 3 and 4. And I'm revoking the bond in 20 CF 7572. That's going to be set at none, sir. Thank
So
you.
they said at what? So I mean I can't bond out?
No. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Anna Marie Collins.
Ms. Collins, this is case number 20 CF 14415. You were arrested for neglect of a child. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, ma'am. Your bond is going to be $1,000. I'm going to order that you are to comply with any DCF requests, investigations, or their orders, ma'am. Okay? Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
DCF said as long as there was nothing said about no contact, I could see him.
Right. I'm not going to make any order regarding your son on contact. I'm going to have you follow the recommendation in the order of DCF because they're in a better position to determine what is an appropriate contact for you and your son.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor,
Yeah.
for the last case on Shannon Brewer, I just wanted to know if we were appointed on the out on bond charge.
Just a second. Thank you, Ms. Collins. Mr. Thompson, I don't know if you were appointed on that case. I didn't appoint you. I don't know if you were previously
No,
appointed.
we weren't. He had no attorney on that case.
Okay, then we'll appoint you guys to represent him.
Thank you.
Are you Ms. Cuesta? All right, I just need to call your lawyer. It'll just be a moment. Okay. Good afternoon. Is this Attorney Belani?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hi, good afternoon. I have your client in front of me here in court. This is case number 20 CF 14410. Ma'am, please tell me your name.
Catalina Cuesta.
Ms. Cuesta, you were arrested for aggravated assault with a firearm. The court does find probable cause. Ms. Belani, did you want to be heard on the issue of bond?
We're just asking for a reasonable bond, Your Honor. She has no prior arrest.
Yes, she does qualify for pretrial release.
We'd rather have her bond if we can, Your Honor, with her job and everything.
Sure. I'm going to set your bond in the amount of $1,000, ma'am. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, is there going to be a no weapons or firearms?
Ms. Cuesta, yes, you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you do have a weapon or firearm that the police did not take, you'll have to surrender that to the police department within 6 hours of your release from custody. You'll get them back when the case is over. Okay? Okay. Thank you. Anything else, Ms. Belani?
No, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
All right,
You
have a
good
great day.
weekend. Thanks, you too. Bye-bye.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Good afternoon. It's Akira Daniel.
Ms. Daniel, this is 20 CF 6815. You were arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. This was pursuant to a probable cause capias. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. Your bond, ma'am, is going to be $1,000, and I'm going to place you on pretrial release. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good one.
You too. Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name?
Mary Dunnigan.
Ms. Dunnigan, you have two cases, 20 CF 14403. You arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond, ma'am, is $2,500. And in 20 CF 2712, you have an out-of-county warrant from Lake County. The bond is $30,000. Lake County will come and pick you up after you have resolved your Orange County case. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Evans bond?
Another George fan?
Yes, sir, just one moment. Mr. Evans, did he bond?
MA number, Your Honor?
200-26422.
He bonded, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Fan. You are here in 20 CF 9119. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause capias for human trafficking, unlawful use of a two-way communication device, another count of human trafficking, less than 18 years old, and lewd or lascivious battery. I will appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. You are not to have any contact with the victim. You are not to have any contact with any children under the age of 18. Ms. Bush, did you want to be heard on counts 1 and 3?
Your Honor, if I may, can we skip this? Mr. Fan is a statewide case.
Okay.
So I'm going to email statewide because I can't speak on their behalf, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the defense wasn't going to hold the state to their proof evidence burden anyway, so.
And Your Honor, that isn't the issue here, but I guess I could stand in for statewide. It's a little out of the ordinary. I just wanted to give them an opportunity to know that Mr. Fan is being IA'd today.
Sure. Well, Mr. Thompson, you're requesting that I stay the bond on count 1 at none?
Yes, and we preserve the right for a full author hearing downtown.
Okay, so Ms. Bush, I think I'll just conclude the IA and you can let them know he's here and they'll get notice of any bond hearing that's set in
Okay, and
Division
the
10.
only request I was making was to the end of the session. That was it. Okay.
All right, Mr. Fan, your attorney has requested that the court not make any finding as to whether or not there is proof evident or presumption grade. He'd like to reserve your right to have a full hearing on the issue in the trial division, which is Division 10, and they can file the appropriate motion. So bond will remain at none on count 1, and I will stay the bond as to the remaining counts. Thank you, sir. Garner.
Hi.
Hi, sir, just give me one moment.
Oh, I can't hear real well. I got ear infection.
Gregory Garner?
He will be next.
Okay.
This is Mr. Blosser.
Oh.
Thomas
thank you.
Blotzer.
I have it, sir. Thank you. You were here in 17 CF 16354. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for failing to report every 30 days and for failing to report a name change or residence. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is $1,000. Your bond on count 2 is $150. And sir, you do have reporting requirements when you are released from the jail.
I didn't hear exactly what you said. I have a hard time hearing.
No problem. We'll get you a headset.
I got ear infection. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Can you hear me better, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So you were arrested pursuant to a warrant for failing to register and to report a name change or resident. I set your bond on count 1 at $1,000. Your bond on count 2 is set at $100, and then you do have reporting requirements when you're released from the jail.
Can I possibly get a pre-trial release? Because I'm going to try to get it outside the turn.
I cannot. No. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Garner?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Mr. Garner, this is 20 CF 14416. You were arrested for driving without a license and causing an accident with serious injury or death. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are not to drive without a valid driver's license. And your bond, sir, is $2,500.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
David Graham.
Mr. Graham, you failed to appear in 19 CF 16072. Your bond on count 1 is $2,500, on count 2, $500, count 3, $100, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Michael Dale Harker.
Sir, you're here in 20 CF 14402. You were arrested for 3 counts of fleeing and eluding, grand theft of a motor vehicle, burglary of a conveyance, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of a Lazapram, and resisting officer without violence. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. Your bond on count 1 is $5,000. Your bond on count 2 is $150, 3 $150, 4 $150, 5 $150, 6 $150, 7 $150, 8 $100. I'm revoking the bond in both of your out-on-bond cases. Those will be set at none, sir. Thank you.
Your Honor, he also has an out-of-county
Oh, did I?
warrant.
Right. I flagged it. You also have an out-of-county case from Lake County, Florida, sir, related to an armed carjacking. The bond is $30,000.
Harris bond, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Money, Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sir, tell me your name, please.
Francisco Hassel.
Mr. Hassel, you were here in 20 CF 13253. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for failing to register as required. I'll appoint the
I turned myself in.
I understand, but you were still arrested for that charge.
Oh, okay, yeah, yes.
Okay, are we on the same page?
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond's $1,000, and then you have reporting requirements when you're released from the jail, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, your name?
Michael Hook.
Mr. Hook, this is 20 CF 14364. You were arrested for possession of a controlled substance without a prescription. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $1,000, sir. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Holland Trayvon Mills.
Mr. Mills, you are here in case number 20 CF 11605. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for RICO and conspiracy to engage in racketeering.
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $50,000 on each count.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Sir?
May I ask one question?
Sure.
I just had a daughter and stuff like that, and I just wanted to be home with her for Christmas. I was just asking for a reasonable bond. Everybody else on my case, they bond is way lower than that.
So here's the...
But me, I was turning myself in the next day. I didn't even know I had no warrant because it was confidential. Like, every time I called the bondsman, it wasn't popping up. Like, they said I had bribery. They said I had a whole different charge. When it hit the news, that's when I knew. And I was going to turn myself in the next day. I didn't know I was not running. Please, ma'am, I just want to be home with my daughter. That's it. That's all I care about. I just want to be home with my daughter. I live in Orlando, Florida. I don't live in Polk County. My address right here. I got my address right here for Orlando. I live in Pine Hills. I don't live in Polk County. I don't have no reason to run. Please, ma'am, I just want to be home with my daughter. She 2 months.
Your Honor, on this matter, I'm also trying to get in touch with statewide. It's another statewide matter.
Mr. Hollins, I don't have enough information about your case to set up, to disrupt the bond. I don't have all of the
Yes,
facts of
'cause,
the case, and I don't have the prosecutor assigned to the case here to do a full hearing.
Me and one of the person that's on my case, we had the same exact charges. His bond is lower than mine. I don't understand it.
So I don't know why that
Please,
reason
ma'am.
is. It could be by the person who reviewed the case, looked at the culpability of each person. I have no idea, sir. I just
want to be home. I just want to be home with my daughter.
It doesn't mean that your bond can't be lowered, sir. Your lawyer's going to have to file a motion and give notice to everyone they can prepare an argument so that the court can be fully advised. Thank you, Mr. Mills. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Hi, Vladimir Pena. Vladimir Pena Cabrera.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You are here in case number 20 CF 14407. You were arrested for possession of a Lazopram, possession of drug paraphernalia, And resisting officer without violence, there is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is 1,000, count 2, 100, count 3, 100. You were also arrested in 20 CT 7509 for driving while license suspended. I'll appoint the public defender in that matter as well. Your bond will be $100. You're not to drive without a valid driver's license. I'm not going to take any action on your out on bond case, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Tars Peterson.
Mr. Peterson?
Yes, ma'am.
You're here in 20 CF 14409. You were arrested for possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver with a weapon, possession of drug paraphernalia with intent to sell, possession of cocaine, open display of a firearm, and possession of a firearm and the commission of a felony. There's probable cause, sir. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is going to be $150. Bond on count 2 is $2,500. Bond on count 3 is $150. Bond on count 4 is $100. Bond on count 5 will be $150. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Good afternoon.
Tell me your name, please.
Isaac Rodriguez.
Mr. Rodriguez, you failed to appear for your plea hearing on the 20th of November. Your bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you if they weren't previously appointed, sir. Thank you.
Valentina Rudolph refused, Your Honor.
I'll find a waiver of his appearance based upon his refusal to come to court. In 20 CF 14387, he was arrested for burglary of a structure, petty theft of $100 or more. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. His bond on count 1 of count 1 is $3,500. Bond on count 2 of count 1 is $150. And bond on count 2 is $100. He's not to return to the scene. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Michael Salter.
Sir, this is 20 CF 14306. You were arrested for robbery pursuant to a probable cause capias. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. You are not to have any contact with the victim. Your bond is $5,000, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Benicio.
Mr. Stiff, this is 20 CF 5016. You failed to appear for court. Your bond on count 1 is $1,500. Your bond on count 2 is $100. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Lamont Swint.
Mr. Swint, this is 20 CF 13853. You were arrested for aggravated battery pursuant to a warrant. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Your bond, sir, is $7,500. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Andre Washington.
Mr. Washington, this is case number 20 CF 14406. You were arrested for possession of cocaine. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the scene. Your bond is $1,000. I'm not going to revoke your bond in your other case, sir. Thank you.
Hey, Judge, how do I, cause those cases I'm on, out on bond, they like a year old, and the state hasn't filed charges on
This isn't a year old. This says that you bonded out in October.
No, I've been not that one. The other one.
I don't have any information about the other one, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephen Williams is medical, Your Honor.
Mr. Thompson, I'm going to appoint you to represent him. Do you want to waive the appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's got 3 cases. I'm going to appoint the public defender in all of them. 20 CF 14249, he was arrested for petty theft, 2 prior convictions pursuant to a warrant. He's not to return to the scene. Bond is $1,000. 20 CF 14301, he was arrested for grand theft, 3rd degree pursuant to a warrant. He's not to have any contact with the victim. He's not to return to the scene or possess any weapons or firearms. Bond is $1,000. And in 20 CF 14417, he was arrested for grand theft, 3rd degree. There's probable cause. He is not to return to the scene. Bond is $500. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Yoshi Williams.
Ma'am, you were here in 20 CF 14375. You were arrested for burglary of a dwelling and criminal mischief greater than $1,000.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off. I wasn't arrested for that. They added those charges to me yesterday. I was arrested for an out-of-county warrant.
This is an Orange County warrant for burglary of a dwelling and criminal mischief. You're Yoshi Williams?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for burglary of a dwelling and criminal mischief of $1,000 or more. You are not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victim. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Your bond on count 1 is $5,000. Your bond on count 2 is $100. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else from the state or the defense?
Nothing from the state.
All right.
For the defense, Your Honor.
Thanks, everyone. Court will be in recess. We're going back on the record in 20 CF 14392. This is Deden Kinyaru. Both the state and defense are present in the courtroom. What I'm going to do on this case, since there is only 2 counts and I thought that there was 3, I had originally set bond at $100,000, $50,000, and $20,000. I'm just going to delete the $20,000, so there's only 2 counts. So bond on count 1 will be $100,000. Bond on count 2 will be $50,000. All of the original other conditions will remain the same.
So there are not 2 counts?
In count 1.
In count 1?
No. That was an error, a clerical error. And I have the warrant here and I'm looking at it. It just says 2 counts. All right, thank you.